Hello, everybody. I'm just going to take a few seconds to wait for a few more people to join, and then I'll get started. So thank you for joining this session. My name is Jon Bentley. I'm the Commercial Director for OpenAthens, and I'm really excited to have this opportunity to share some insight we gathered during a major piece of research with end users, people who use our services from around the world. This is research that we started in 2021 and pursued through 2022 and into 23. What I hope you will see from this webinar is that wherever you are in the world or the universe, the challenges people face in accessing e-resources are similar. There may be some surprises, but I doubt it. But I think there are certainly regional variations that reveal some similar themes and from a fresh perspective. What we'll cover today, I'll talk about the rationale for our user research, the methodology that we used, the user challenges. We'll look at global comparisons and trends, areas for improvement, some recommendations, and some what next. And we're looking to make this interactive, and there will be a poll at the end where we will ask for your opinions on where we should focus next and what the priorities should be. So the rationale for our research. As a community, we often refer to three major stakeholders, three really important groups involved in e-resource management. These are libraries, publishers, and end users. Traditionally, OpenAthens has always focused on those first two. In the last few years, our community has been tested like never before as they adapted services to support learners and researchers working remotely and online. Learners and researchers have also had to adapt to keep their work on track. We wanted to understand the challenges users face when they search for resources online, how they manage these, and what it means for their work when they have to compromise. We commissioned the work from a consultancy firm called Digerati to talk in depth to academic library users in different regions around the world. Next slide, please, Laura. So Digerati carried out semi-structured Zoom interviews with 15 researchers and 9 learners in Nigeria, the Philippines, Malaysia, India, Australia, and the United States. We included research participants with and without support. Later that year, we followed up on Digerati's qualitative research with a quantitative study that looked at the issues that have had a negative impact on researchers and learners. We surveyed 174 respondents across the globe using social media and direct mail to reach out to our target audience. Next slide, please. The researchers and learners in Digerati's study face a multitude of challenges when looking for resources, and especially journal articles online. Many of these challenges are common and widespread, but the severity varies from person to person, depending on factors that include geographical location and the availability of quality support and where they are in their career and what their experience is. Next slide, please. In the Digerati research, interviewees value journal articles highly, but they said that access to them is hindered by factors that include paywalls, lack of guidance on how and where to search, unreliable internet, and unreliable power supplies. Students and researchers who can't get quick, easy access to online resources can't do their best work or achieve their potential. Next slide, please. Access to journal articles frequently comes at a cost. Most students and researchers need journal articles to be free at the point of use, and they believe this is an ethical issue as well as a practical one. Only students and researchers with the best financial support can routinely pay for articles. Even those who can pay are slowed down by the need to justify the cost. Sometimes they are frustrated about paying for something that looked promising from the abstract, but proved not to be after purchase. There are growing expectations that publicly funded research should be accessible to all. Publishers are increasingly responding to these expectations by adopting new content delivery models, such as hybrid, open access, and/or subscribed content. Next slide, please. Often learners and researchers don't know where to find resources. They say there's too much available and it is too widely dispersed across the internet. The institutional library might seem the obvious first port of call for many, but it is not, either in person or remotely. In these cases, learners and researchers don't make use of the curated high-quality resources that the library subscribes to. Instead, they may devise their own suboptimal search methods. We saw the keynote speaker earlier on, Emily Singley, talk about how easy it is to get to research that might not be peer-reviewed versus that is published by a publisher in their academic journals. Next slide, please. Researchers worry about not being able to identify research gaps because resources are hard to discover or hard to access. This is always detrimental and can be disastrous. A master's candidate from Nigeria with limited access to online resources wrote a research paper only to find when he tried to publish it that the research had been done a decade before. He's still trying to tweak his work to get it published. He's now in Malaysia working on his PhD. He said, research here is easier. You get to be abreast of the latest information so you can think better. Next slide, please. But it is not enough to make all resources open access. Users still need to help to spot quality and assess relevance, even when they are established in their academic careers. This can come in the form of guidance and training in research skills, as well as guidance and training in the use of platforms and digital tools. Next slide, please. The majority of our 174 survey participants were students, that's 52%, or researchers, which was 38%. The remaining 10% included a teacher, humanitarian, a geologist, an employee, and a librarian. Next slide, please. And these are the most frequently experienced issues. The resources I need are in many different places. That was received the most attention. I do not get enough support from my library online. I'm not sure about the quality or impact factor of what I have found. I do not have access to all the content I need, or I am not aware of the new relevant papers or research. Next slide, please. But if you look at things differently, those factors have different impacts or different negative impacts on the work. I mean, researchers were less concerned than students about research abilities, but they did share student worries about how to discover and access content and the negative impact on their work if they miss key resources. Students were mainly concerned about how to evaluate the quality of resources they find online and how to organize those resources. So at the top is I do not have access to all the content I need. So that's the concept of if I miss something, that will have a major impact on the quality of the research that I produce. Next slide, please. At OpenAthens, we'd like to know more about the reasons for the different response rates. For example, have respondents in Europe, Middle East, and Africa countries and the UK given research skills a higher priority because they are a hot topic in the UK or Europe? In Africa, does the lower priority suggest that learners and researchers have more pressing concerns, such as hardware or robust connectivity? Our researchers and learners all recognize that content and quality content is fundamental for their work. There are marked differences, however, in how they rate the impact of missing out on valuable resources. Our study involved quite small numbers of respondents, particularly in Europe, Middle East and Africa and South America. And one of the things on our agenda for the future is to explore these differences further with a larger cohort. Next slide, please. So the role of the library is critical and fundamental to the quality of the research and the studies that are undertaken. Insufficient online library support or information, advice and guidance is frequently cited in our study as an issue. And this is more prevalent in Africa, Asia and Europe, where respondents also said it had a significant impact on their ability to do quality work. Next slide, please. So the key themes that emerged: researchers and learners want to be able to find all relevant resources relating to their research queries. They want to be able to access all relevant resources relating to within reputable journals, both for finding resources and for searchers for particularly publishing their work. They want to be able to organize their resources effectively, and they want to be able to integrate and cite the resources into their work. Next slide, please. Academic libraries and the librarians themselves have been under extreme pressure, but the response to lockdown has been incredible. They have digitized resources, implemented digital tools, and devised click and collect schemes for library users. The majority of researchers and students do now begin their discovery process outside the library. Comments from our qualitative research show that digital is often the preferred choice for students and researchers when they look for resources. And they often circumvent the library because they think there are faster, easier ways of getting what they need. When students and researchers do turn to the library, they often do that because they want to access a journal that's behind a paywall. Their experiences, however, do vary greatly. Some find a wealth of support, while others find they wait several days for a response, or sometimes never get one at all. Next slide, please. Existing clunky processes make it harder for respondents to file and arrange their journal articles, and managing this interferes with their thinking and writing. It is a significant problem. Online research becomes almost addictive in some cases, and students and researchers accumulate vast amounts of information simply because a lot of it is reasonably and readily available. Numerous interviewees said they need smoother processes to store, retrieve, and use articles they've accumulated. Next slide, please. So our recommendations. For libraries, we know they need to work with discovery services and quite complex library systems to implement intuitive, simple search functionality. They need to provide robust library support and training and collaborate with other departments to become an integral part of the student and researcher workflow. And they need to streamline online searches and safeguard user anonymity in federated single sign-on. For publishers and service providers and vendors, we recommend implement federated single sign-on to give users a smoother, more consistent, safer access to your content. Work with your library customers to integrate your product seamlessly into their discovery systems and provide tools that enable personalized journeys and support storage, retrieval, and citation. Next slide, please. And this is where we would like your help. We have a number of potential areas to focus on as we look to the future. both for researchers and students. So we're going to share with you now a list of themes, and we'd like you to select your top 3 priorities for researchers and students. Laura, if you're able to share the poll, thank you. So if you could take the time just to pop your responses into the poll. First question, what is most important for researchers? Is it a high quality library portal and effective support? An easy way to organize online research? An easy way to insert citations, or a seamless workflow from finding the resources? So it's interesting. Thank you for the people who are responding. So as I'm looking at the results, you can see that a high quality library portal with effective support is coming out on top. Now, interesting, that is slightly different. We ran this survey and the poll earlier in the week, and there are slightly different variations. So what we'll do, we'll take those away and we'll combine those with the results that we had earlier in the week and make sure that we share those with you. But clearly coming out of the top there is the importance of a library portal and that seamless workflow for the end user to the resources they need at that time and place. It was a fascinating piece of research because we talked to end users in detail in countries we'd not engaged with previously. And I think one of the greatest learnings from us throughout that process was that there are common themes about accessing e-resources that we can work together to solve, to give and improve the quality of the research and the studies that learners and researchers do around the world. So we'll move on to questions. Should we move to the final slide? So if we have any questions. No questions? Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. If we move to the next slide, please, Laura. A lot of this work is based on a report that we published earlier this year. There's a QR code that you can access to download the report. And we'd welcome any observations, thoughts, or feedback on the research itself. So I'll take this time to say thank you to all of you for joining the seminar. And we look forward to seeing you at Access Lab 2024. Thank you very much.